Okay, I decided to take a short break from my comic book battles where it's Doomsday essentially annihilating the Marvel Universe to go back to what I initially started doing when I started doing these versus battles and going back to movies. So I'm going to do Thor versus Superman. Movies. Now, of course, for the Superman franchise, there have been a lot of different movies. So therefore, we've seen a lot more what Superman can do. We've also seen two different people wear the cape. Sorry, I'm not going to throw in Tom Welling into this because let's be honest. But we're going to throw in Tom Welling against movie Thor. He would get entirely annihilated because he really hasn't done anything that really makes him Superman. He's Clark Kent, and this isn't Clark Kent versus Thor. Superman versus Thor. So we'll start first and foremost with the Brandon Routh version versus the most recent Thor movie. Now, as always, it is intelligence, fighting ability, strength, speed, durability, how well can you take a beating, and vulnerability as well as energy projections. So we're going to start first and foremost with Brandon Routh, Superman versus Thor. Now, of course, we saw him in probably one of the lower Superman movies. So that having been said, let's look at first intelligence. You know, this one's kind of hard to go with while comparing these two characters, because Thor is kind of brash and arrogant and really didn't think things through an awful lot towards the very end. And Superman was kind of like a deadbeat dad who couldn't figure out that the child that was walking around was actually his kid. And he just seemed kind of just flighty. He really didn't seem like somebody who actually has, you know, some level of alien intelligence and actually flew away for a couple of years to try to hunt down bits and pieces of his home planet. He just seemed like he was a regular, everyday sort of guy who was just kind of there. So I have to compare someone who's just kind of there versus someone who's brash and arrogant. So you have kind of cool and collected versus brash and arrogant. I give Superman the slight lead on this one. Fighting ability, Thor. Strength. You know, movie Thor really didn't do a whole lot strength-wise. You know, a lot of what he did was, you know, when he fought the Frost Giants, it was a lot of him just beating them with Mjolnir. So I just need to kind of compare those sort of, you know, feats of strength at his maximum power versus Superman being able to lift, well, being able to catch a plane while it was going down and land it smoothly, as well as being able to lift an island made of kryptonite. You know, I'll scratch the island part, because first and foremost, that actually couldn't happen. If it's an island full of kryptonite, unless he's going to wrap it in lead and then move it, he really couldn't do anything with it, so that one's kind of moot. So if you look at catching a plane versus really being able to beat things up with Mjolnir. Well, actually, I can probably say his greatest feat of strength was probably a combination of strength and speed when he flew through that giant creature's mouth. So I have to go through blowing a hole through a creature with a combination of strength and speed versus catching an airplane. Yeah, I'm gonna give Thor this one. So far we've got intelligence, Superman, Thor, strength, and fighting ability. Speed. I really don't recall Superman doing anything that actually seemed like super speed. So again, I'm going to go for the feat that Thor did, where Thor essentially used the combination of his strength to have Mjolnir have him get like a rocket speed and blast through the creature's mouth. So I'm going to go again with Thor. So right now I've got intelligence versus fighting ability, strength, and speed. Durability. Well, we did actually see Superman come back from lots of kryptonite damage. So I'll give the edge in durability to Superman in that one, because he did come back from the thing that actually could kill him quite a few times. And vulnerability. Okay, Thor took some shots from the Destroyer. Superman took a bullet in the eye. Weapon forged by gods to defend a sacred spot holding weapons that can like annihilate the universe. Bullet in the eye. That's going to go to Thor. Energy projections. So now I get to compare like a little bit of heat vision that we saw, a little bit of frost breath, versus conjuring up tornadoes. Yeah, I'm the other one with Thor. So as you can tell, if movie Thor were to have faced Superman Brandon Roth, he, rightly so, would have absolutely annihilated him. So now if you look at, well, if it was Christopher Reeve. Alright, 0 to 0, here we go. Intelligence, Reeve. Fighting ability. You know, the most we saw him do, we saw him fight 3 Kryptonians simultaneously. Versus an army of frost giants. Ugh. 3 Kryptonians, but he really kind of outsmarted them more than he actually physically fought them. So I'll give fighting ability to Thor. Strength. Man, you know what? Christopher Reeve did some insane things as Superman. You know, I'm not to compare the small feats of strength we saw Thor do versus like dragging nuclear warheads and throwing them into the sun. Soups. Speed. Okay, Superman was able to go so fast he made the Earth go backwards so he could travel backwards in time. That is a feat of speed, my friend. So far, intelligence, strength, and speed for Christopher Reeve Superman. Fighting ability for Thor. Alright, durability and vulnerability and energy projections. Durability. What have we actually seen Superman come back from? Well, you know, we saw him come back from fighting 3 Kryptonians, getting the crap beat out of him then. We also come from... Yeah, we saw him come back from a decent amount of beatings, even fighting the guy made of radiation. But, so he did come back an awful lot from his fights. Thor, again, he really kind of had those 2 really impressive fights, and that was about it. So, I'm going to give that one to Christopher Reeve. You know, for what Reeve was able to survive and get through and come back from. He got beaten down a lot, but he almost always came back. In vulnerability, I have to compare fighting 3 Kryptonians to, again, taking a shot from, like, the God weapon. Even though he was a human, he did technically die from it, but he was able to come back from it and pretty much... Well, let's go back. Dying and coming back, well, kind of dying and coming back, versus constantly getting beat down. You know, I think I'm going to give durability to Superman, and I'll go with invulnerability to Thor, because Superman, Christopher Reeve got beaten down a lot, but he always came back. So I'll give him durability, and I'll give invulnerability to Thor. Energy projections. Now I have to compare all the different sorts of times we saw him use heat vision, frost breath, versus lightning and conjuring up storms. I'm sorry, that one has to go to Thor. So as you can tell, if you change your Superman, if you go from Brandon Roth to Christopher Reeve, all of a sudden that Superman is able to edge out Thor. Not massively, but he's still able to edge out Thor. So, if Thor fought Brandon Roth Superman, he's probably going to whoop the living daylights out of him, still have enough time to pound, you know, to hard party with the Warriors 3. If he goes out and takes on Christopher Reeve versus Superman, Christopher Reeve is going to beat him, and then he'd probably join the Warriors 3 and probably give him some sort of tale about, you know, morality and why they shouldn't be drinking.